This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not being reprimanded by traffic cops, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Wash your hands, don't touch your face, wipe things down, clean up your space. When you cough and sneeze, do responsibly. If you feel you're getting ill, isolate at home and chill. No, you're not alone. Please pick up your phone and call 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health Community Radio Station will provide you with more information. Say Rainier Avenue Radio. Your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
This is Big Poppy, host of Jazz from the Cabinets. Join me each week for a listening tour of the first century of jazz, an eclectic mix of Dixieland, big band, cool jazz, bebop, contemporary jazz, world jazz, all jazz in all forms. That's Jazz from the Cabinets with Big Poppy on Rainier Avenue Radio, streaming worldwide on RainierAvenueRadio.world.
Here's the bad news. You can catch the flu and COVID at the same time.
At the same time?
But the good news, you can get vaccinated against COVID and flu at the same time.
At the same time?
It's safe, convenient, and a wonderful way to protect yourself and everyone you care about. We're stronger when we're all protected. Visit vaccines.gov to find COVID and flu vaccines near you.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram, Rainier Avenue Radio.world, and on Twitter at Rainier Ave Radio.
Good evening. I'm Dupe, your host, and this is Monday Night Sports. And you know what we do on Monday Night Sports? We recap the Seahawks game. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. It's I know it's been a frustrating season if you're a Seahawks fan, and certainly for the Seahawks players, we're going to get a little sound and hear from them, and hear what they have to say about yesterday's. I mean, many people will call it a collapse, a game that they had in the bag. And defense just couldn't make a stop when they had to, and the offense couldn't extend, a drive when they had to. So it is what it is. The Seahawks lose it 25-24, give up a 2-point conversion. A great play. I mean, what can you say? I will say this, and we've been talking about this, most of the season. When, your opponent has the ball almost twice as much as you do. When you cannot convert on third down. I mean, those are the two big things. I mean, looking at yesterday, Seahawks were 3 of 10 for third down efficiency. I mean, you're not getting the job done. You have to be able to extend drives at key moments. And then you look at the time of possession. The Bears had the ball 38 minutes to the Seahawks 21 minutes. And again, a tale of two halves. Seahawks played a very good first half, but second half offensively just couldn't move the ball. And, I think if you're, like me, a Seahawks fan, you're wondering, okay, all this hoopla bringing in Shane Waldron and the offense was going to be this high-powered offense. And you got some players, and they just cannot get it done. A question I have is you got a talent like DK Metcalf, you got to get him the ball more, give him more opportunities. I think he had four targets yesterday, I think. What's going into that, the play calling, and then some key situations where you've got to make a play, and like the fourth down play, 4th and 1, and you get an illegal procedure, and now you're looking at 4th and 6. So you got to make. I mean, those are just mental errors errors that you cannot make at key times in the ball game. And so it is what it is. Seahawks lose it. You know what we're going to do? Let's do this. We're going to do two things. We're going to have from the Seattle Times, Bob Condotta is going to join us shortly. But I want to play some sound first. But I want to just let you know, if you have not checked him out, go to Seattle Times or seattletimes.com, whatever. And Bob Condotta, we're going to talk a little bit about this. He has a report card from yesterday's game. And he talks about by position, basically, kind of grading the Seahawks, and I think pretty accurate. The other thing, though, I want to extend that in talking to him and talk about kind of for the season, where would he grade, the team in those different positions and what they've done. But I tell you what, we're going to listen to it. I think this quote, not quote, I should say, interview, this post game interview from Carlos Dunlap, who I think Seahawks obviously got him in a trade last year, re-signed him, and has made a huge impact on the defensive line, and a guy who hopefully the Seahawks will keep, and a guy who can get some things done. But I think just listen to his cut, and you can hear the frustration, but also something I think that is really important: the professionalism and the fact that these guys aren't going to give up. Dan, go ahead and roll that with Carlos Dunlap.
We're still focused, committed. We're too invested to quit now. We're going to finish this season strong. As you see, these games all season, all these games been coming down to the wire, and here we are, probably with no chance of the playoffs at this point. Now after that, and we're still in dogfights every time, and you gotta respect that, and it just speaks to the character in the locker room right there. I don't really have to answer that question.
Have you been a part of teams before where that has waned, maybe in those circumstances?
Yeah, my first year in the league, lost was it 11 in a row, something like that. But yeah, we're not gonna do that here.
What went wrong on the last drive, you think?
They made a play and we didn't, and that gave them the lead.
Is there anything different? Anything that changed? I mean, the result was different.
Yeah, couple plays that they made to get them momentum and get down there. Defensively, we pride ourselves in getting off the field, and that one is a very tough pill to swallow because we had an opportunity to close the game out on defense, and we pride ourselves on that, and I take that personally, and we didn't come through.
Did you think you forced a fumble there on Foles on that one play, or what?
On the one they overturned?
Yeah, the one they overturned.
That one I thought was super close, and if the ball don't go behind him, I typically err on they're gonna call it for his side. But then when the refs, I guess New York called him and said it was a fumble, and we went to the sideline, I was like, oh yes, it was. And then sat down, was about to get a Gatorade, and they're like, oh, we're back up, and those just are the emotions, ebbs and flows of the football game. So it was great to come back and get it later in the game, which was probably even more clutch, but we didn't come up with it.
What can you share with us about what Pete told you guys after the game?
I don't like talking about what we talk about in the locker room, but he kind of echoed what I said. We're just going to keep fighting, keep coming to work. We take pride in our work, and if you take pride in your work and you have another opportunity, you go out there and handle your business. And we're all professionals here, and we're going to finish the season like it. We're going to keep fighting. Just keep fighting.
So there you have it, Carlos Dunlap. And like I said, they're going to keep fighting, and obviously 2 more games, and that's it. No playoffs for this team. It's always interesting. People ask questions, and I don't blame them. Sometimes you're like, really, you're gonna ask a question, and what happened on the play? And he said, hey, man, they made a play and they went ahead. And I don't blame him. For sometimes giving an answer like that. I was like, come on, you guys. But anyway, it is what it is. Obviously, very frustrating, but. I think as you take a look at this team, and a couple of things I think are really important. I've been talking about all season. What are some things they need to do? And one of the things, that I think is really important. This defense, they talked about it yesterday on the broadcast. the Seahawks defense bends but doesn't break. They don't give up a lot of points in the red zone. They don't allow teams to get in the end zone. Do a really good job. I think they held the previous three games, if I'm not mistaken, opponents under 24 points. And then yesterday, obviously, with the 2-point conversion. But I think at the end of the day, somehow you've got to get a stop. And I don't know if they need a cover corner guys that can. I mean, they seem to be playing more often than not a zone, and the opponents find the opening spots. I mean, you look at the quarterback stats of their opponents all season long, and guys are having their best game of the season, against the Seahawks, and that is week in and week out. And at a certain point, do you say, okay, let's look at the scheme, let's look at what's going on there, and do you make a change there? And offensively, I mean, the Seahawks have made a lot of changes, in terms of offensive coordinators, and you seem to have the same issue, is that this team cannot consistently make a drive, do the things they need to do, and they've done that in the past. And Russell, we're gonna hear some Russell Wilson sound, I think, if we have time, at the end, and he talks about that. Yeah, it's frustrating because this is something we've done in the past, and they're just not getting it done, and that's a real tough one. But a bright spot, a huge bright spot is you got Rashad Penny and the way that he has been playing. 2 of the last 3 games, over 100 yards, 130 plus yards. And I mean, are we starting to see what the Seahawks saw when they drafted him? And Dan, you can go to, I'm sure fans have seen the highlights, but you can go to full screen on the highlights if you want. People rather see that than me. And the weather it was inconsequential. It didn't matter. But I think, the important thing is that you have a guy now. I mean, is Rashad Penny, is he going to give you something? And I want to talk about this play in just a minute, Estridge. But is he going to give you that consistent, running back, the consistent ground game? There is getting that touchdown. I mean, a few weeks ago, after his breakout game against Houston, he talked about the fact that I'm running hard, and he talked about things that Chris Carson has told him now with AP, with Adrian Peterson there, and that's important. I mean, he's starting to believe in himself and believe what he can do. And then the second thing is he's healthy, and that's huge. That's a key. But I want to go back to the kind of little, I'll call it a little end around or reverse that they ran to Esther's. They ran that 3 times. Now they apparently called 2 of the 3 a pass. But the first time was that play we saw a minute ago. Esther's got about 17 yards. I think the second one he got some positive yards. The third one a loss. And again, I want to see more creativity from the offense. I'm just not seeing that. You got some big guns. I mean, you got a guy. I keep bring up DK Metcalf. You got a guy like DK Metcalf. You have to find creative ways to get him the ball and get him the ball where he, is one-on-one, and where he can make something happen, and not, throw it out to him in the flats. And by the time, he gets the ball, there's a defender right there, smacking him. And that just happens too often. There's Rashad Penny again. And, let's go ahead, and we got to cut from Rashad Penny. I want to hear that, because I think that he has, I like what I've seen out of him the last few weeks. And again, the question, I guess, is, okay, can he stay healthy? We've got 2 more games. Let's see what he does. Can he stay healthy? And can he be that every down back? I mean, he's a big guy. Okay. He's got some size on him, and he is running. He's running with a different mentality, and a mentality that he had to run with when he was at San Diego State to run for 2,000 yards. I don't care what level you're at. If you run for 2,000 yards, man, okay, you're doing something. And anyway, go ahead and play that Rashad Penny cut.
I come out to win games and help contribute. I think that's the number one thing for me. And again, staying injury free, and just being positive, and just doing whatever it takes to help win. That's all it is.
You just mentioned staying injury free. What's a bigger deal to you, the production right now, or the fact that you've gone 4 straight games playing hard and coming out clean every week?
Yeah, I think that's the yards, touchdowns. I'm gonna be honest, never meant anything to me since college. It's a blessing. I'm thankful. Again, I really don't much deserve that, leaning on the O-line, who can do it every week. Just coming out and, just being able to take as much as I did. I'm thankful for that. Like, it was a big milestone for me because, again, my whole career has been derailed with small little injuries or just small things. And then finally, 4 games straight, I was able to just keep going and, just keep continuing for the last few weeks in Poughkeepsie.
You've been here for a while now. You've seen 12-4 last year. Can you explain how it's gone so south this year, how it's gone such a different direction?
We're a great football team. We're a great football team. Great organization here. And, the biggest thing is finishing. I mean, during the season we had close losses, and it's all about finishing. And, that's one thing Coach, preach every day. And, he's the leader. He drives everything. And, I wouldn't want to have any other coach like Pete. But, just finish. I think that's the whole aspect, finishing games and the season be turned around. I think we have a few more wins, less loss finishing. But that comes with, taking each day, taking each week, never overlooking. And, it's just something that I think we'll get better at. And a few games we got coming up will make a big difference.
What kind of statement do you feel like you've made these last, 3 weeks with your contract coming up?
I feel like I didn't make any statement. I knew what I can do. I mean, again, I was never on the field. And it's unfortunate, but I'm thankful for whatever I've been doing these last few weeks, and I couldn't have done it without these guys. Giving me opportunity to show what I can do and, just never giving up on me. And then myself just running hard every play, just whatever hole's there, just hitting it, or, whatever big play I can make, that's always my goal. But I used to always, as a rookie, think about the next play. Now I'm just thinking about, okay, I got this play right here, right in front of me. So this is what I got to do, and this is how I got to attack it.
You've talked a few times now about hitting holes harder and running harder. Was it harder to do that earlier in your career when the injuries were piling up?
No, I always thought of myself as a home run hitter. I never trusted my instincts or my abilities. Crazy thing is, Chris used to literally tell me every day, bro, if you hit the hole hard enough and fast enough, I promise you, the arm tackles, you're just going to break away easy from them. And I think it was at the start of this camp, and I was just forget it. I made that motto of, I don't want anyone touching my knee, so I'm going to hit them first before they get to me. So that's just something that I stuck with. And, having someone like Chris and now having AP and all the other running backs, they make it easier for me. They motivate me. They get me going. We're always talking on the sidelines about what we can do there. And it's fun. And I love being around these guys and, the guys that help me out. I think this journey for me is far from over.
And there you have it, Rashad Penny. And, I tell you what, you talk about his mentality running. And it reminds me of, I've talked about this on the show before, Walter Payton, and the fact that was a guy who said, I'm going to deliver the blow. I am going to deliver the blow. And Adrian Peterson, that type of running back, and Rashad Penny, is starting to run with that type of mentality. And Chris Carson, absolutely. That's one of the things I love about Chris Carson. And between Carson and Penny, if those guys can stay healthy, you could have a formidable, running game, and that remains to be seen. But real quickly, I want to do this. We were hoping to get Bob Condotta, and his he got tied up. We'll try to catch him next week and talk about the Seahawks and get a report card overall. But I just want to go over his report card from yesterday's game, because if you haven't seen it, go to the Seattle Times, and I've got the Seattle Times online. And it says report card, Bob Condotta, grades of Seahawks collapse versus the Bears. And one of the things he talks about, quarterback, he said it was a confounding performance by Russell Wilson. And, obviously Russell had, go ahead. You can go that full screen if you want, Daniel, and keep me small, whatever works. But, and I agree with him. I mean, Russell's kind of up and down, and I just, not sure. I mean, and Russell Wilson talked about coming back a little bit too early, maybe from the injury and what have you. But, great pass there, the 41-yarder DK Metcalf. I mean, that was on the money. That's what Russell Wilson does. And we're going to hear from Russell Wilson in just a minute. He's going to talk a little bit about, kind of the difference, this year. But, overall, he gives Russell Wilson a C-. Running back, I mean, what can you say? Rashad Penny, ran the ball well. I mean, he is he is a guy who, again, I said, if he can continue to play the way he's been playing, Seahawks may have found an answer at that running back position. And keep in mind, Rashad Penny, like I said earlier, is a big. He's 5'11", 220. So he delivers a blow, and he's realizing now, I'm gonna hit that hole. I don't want anybody, as he said, Chris Scott said, don't let anybody grab your knees. Just run through it, and you will see as you are running like that with that type of kind of authority. You will see that the little arm tackles when you guys aren't going to be able to bring you down. You're going to run through those arm tackles, and he's starting to do that. And then also, I like the fact that DJ Dallas, had 4 carries, 15 yards. Had the really really good kickoff return. But I mean, DJ Dallas coming off the bench and adding some as well. Receivers, C-, and DK had 4 targets in the first 17 minutes of the game. Okay. And then only one. So I said 4 targets earlier, 5 targets total. None after the 11:09 mark in the third quarter. Why is that? Why is it? And Russell missed that throw where he overthrew him. And that is a throw that Russell Wilson, 9 times out of 10 is going to make. And so, I mean, it's just one of those things I've talked about a lot, that for a team to win, and for a team to get to a championship and to win a championship, you got to have 3 things. Number one, you got to have talent. You got to be good. I mean, that's the bottom line. Secondly, you got to be healthy. And the Seahawks, for the most part, have been pretty healthy. I mean, they've had, the injuries, and they haven't been hit by the COVID bug too badly. I mean, unlike some other teams. But the third thing is you got to have some luck. The ball's got to bounce your way. And this season, the ball, and you create that to a certain degree, but you got to have some luck. And the Seahawks just haven't had a lot of that this year. So his grade, his being Bob Condotta, his grade for the receivers, a C-. And one of the things that he talks about, in here, you got to get more out of, and I agree, from Freddie Swain and D. Estridge. They had 3 catches for 19 yards, and one of them, the 13-yarder, was that run, and they called it a pass, but really was more of a run. But it is what it is. Tight end, a C. Gerald Everett, again, 4 catches, 68 yards, had the touchdown. But some key, penalties and some things, you didn't get anything else out of your other guys. So, that's you got to improve there. Offensive line, he gives offensive line a D, and, a couple holding penalties on, the final drive were killers, and really, and the bottom line is they could not control the game and stay on the field when they had to. And that just, you've got to be able to do that real quickly. And then want to listen to Russell Wilson. Defensive line, Bob Condotta gave them a C. Obviously, Carlos Dunlap, he had some really, really good plays. Rasheem Green as well, got a couple of sacks. Linebacker, C-. And again, the defensive scheme, it's in that middle of the field, and kind of that in between the linebacker and the safety gap, where teams are just finding huge holes and killing the Seahawks. Secondary gives them a C-, and then special teams a D. Russell Wilson gave up the sack, and you figure that typically you're going to make a 39-yard field goal, and you miss that. It is what it is. We're going to finish out. We're going to listen to a quick cut. Well, not quick, about 5-6 minutes of Russell Wilson. And I think he says some key things that will come out, and we'll kind of wrap things up. So go ahead and play
that
Russell.
Situation, the ball is down the red zone. Ball's on the 8-yard line or so. I've been moving well for the most part for most of the day. So once it wasn't there, we've had so many scramble opportunities. I was looking for Tyler, trying to see if he could move around and just try to get away. And knowing that, okay, we'll still be, no matter what, we're going to be near field goal range. Obviously, we're inside of it now. And so, I think that the risk reward, trying to score a touchdown, we've done it so many times. We've hit Tyler and other guys, and unfortunately we weren't able to make that play. And then, obviously the situation happens where we don't end up making it. But, I was, trying to play ball like I know how to do and always do, and try to move around and just try to see if we can find a touchdown there, especially down in the red zone that close. It's one of those things that, if I can run it in there, if I can slide to the left, slide to the right, boom, some guy open, touchdown, so that was that situation.
Russ, for so long, you and this team have been known for finishing games late, making getting the stop, the drive, whatever you guys need. Just how strange it's been this year that the finishing hasn't been there.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest and the toughest part about this season. I think about all the great seasons, all the great moments we've had. A lot of times it's this season in particular. It feels like we have the lead or whatever it may be, and we can finish better. We have to be able to finish better. In my opinion, on offense, we can execute better. We can do little things better. We had two great opportunities. Like Greg just brought up that one. We're trying to find a touchdown, move around. Okay, that doesn't work. And then the next time, I think we get the ball back again, and unfortunately, we got a holding penalty on the balls on the 28. I think we get a 3-4 yard run. We get pushed back, and the ball's on the 38. And then we have another negative play. And now we're out of field goal range, just like that. And that's really the game. It's really the game. I think that we played really solid football for the most part throughout the whole game. In third quarter, we didn't have the ball much, but in the fourth quarter, we had two tremendous opportunities, to try to find points, and touchdowns or at least field goals. And unfortunately, it didn't work the way that we wanted it to. And when you're up like that, we got to be able to finish. And I think that's happened a couple of times a few times this year. And so, obviously. You guys know me, man. I do anything to win. Love the process of it all. And this year's been tough, to be where we are right now, knowing that everybody's put so much energy and so much time into it, and to know that we haven't been able to be where we want to be, So it's definitely disappointing, But I think that the only thing I know how to do, and the rest of the guys in the locker room know how to do, is to come back to work and give everything that we have. And I think that it's easy to lead when everything is going great and everything's going smooth, and it's a lot more difficult to do it. But it should never change. Your attitude, your mindset, your dedication to the game, what you care about, your passion to the game, your passion to your craft every day. It's always going to be challenges. It's always going to be tough, and so. This year's definitely been tough in that sense. And honestly, this game, we should definitely have this one. The way we were playing, the way that I felt like we were moving the ball. Rashad Penny had an unbelievable game. The line was blocking their butts off. See DK score that touchdown. That was huge. Other guys, Gerald getting in the end zone. That was awesome. We had some really great things too. DJ Dallas had another great game. There's some amazing great pieces that we did. Did things. He had a great time. He did a great job running the ball. Made some couple plays on offense, and then obviously his special teams efforts. And I think that as a collective effort, we could have finished better.
Did the snow or anything change anything today, or were the conditions any challenging?
It was definitely windy. Throughout the game, it changed a little bit, but I thought that. We haven't played in a game like that here, but I thought it was great. I felt like I was seeing it well, throwing it well for the most part, and everything else. It just, I don't think the weather was really a factor for us. I think that the biggest thing that was it definitely it was cool just to know that it's our first time being here in that situation, and okay, let's go step up to the plate and let's take it. And there's great charge, great energy around it, and guys were fired up for the game and everything else. And I thought that we definitely showed that throughout the first half, and then it kind of slipped away from us late. But like I said, I don't think that was a factor. No.
This may vary by game, but end of the first half, your guys decided not to burn a timeout after getting a stop. 30 seconds off the clock, but you guys kept that second timeout. As the quarterback in that situation, would you rather have that extra timeout or the extra 30 seconds there?
I think anytime you're in 2 minutes, the more time you have, the better. Obviously, that's just. I think that I think it was 2 minutes. I think 2 minute warning hit, and then I think they had a play, and then I think there was a situation where we could have called timeout. I think they decided to have to save the two timeouts, and. That was their coach's decision and all that stuff. So I think it's not a bad thing. It's not, I think that either way, you have two timeouts or you have one, but more time. So, that's a decision that coach makes.
You mentioned.
Well, there you hear that's Russell Wilson, and kind of recapping a little bit about yesterday's game. And I think overall, he said it. Everyone says. I mean, they should have won the game, no doubt. Where do you go from here? You got 2 games left. You get it done. You get it done. You build. You create something to build on for the remainder, for rather the offseason and next season. I mean, I think that's the big key. And then you got to figure out what are the things, what are the holes that you have to shore up on this team that you can, again, be a contender. We're spoiled here. We're so used to this team making the playoffs year in and year out, and they didn't do that. So 2 more weeks. Let's hope they can give us some highlights and we have some fun with it. That does it for us here on Monday Night Sports. Don't go anywhere because Lidline is next with Granville, Pepe, and Lil Low. And that is right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. So don't turn the dial. Don't go anywhere until next week. Enjoy yourself. Peace. And God bless.
We don't need to. You know you can't get enough of Rainier Avenue Radio.